In this episode of Financial Literacy for Beginners, we're going to talk about how I make money trading stock options. Cue the intro. All right, so there's a ton of information out there about how to trade options, how to trade in general. And a lot of it is, they talk about technical analysis, they talk about different things and different approaches to doing those things. But I want to cut to the chase today. I want to tell you how to actually make money at trading options. And to do that, I think we need to talk about first what you have to really know going in, or what approach you need to take to do it. So the first thing is research. I think the first thing you need to do to really understand how these things work is do your research. Do your research. Take a real good look at what the overarching thing is that you're doing, what it means. And in terms of trading options, it's really all about time. You're taking a stock and you're putting it in a time capsule and allowing it to go up or down in that time frame. And if it goes in your direction in that time frame, you get paid. And that's at the core what it is. So really think about it in terms of time. I want you to really get the concept of time down when you're thinking about trading options, because that's going to be your ally. A lot of times with options, people, if you understand the concept of time, you can pretty much win at least 70 to almost even 90% of the time with your options trades if you understand first time, and the second thing that we're going to talk about, which is patience. Time and patience go hand in hand when you're trading options. Really, when you're trading anything, really with the stock market period, if you're thinking about, really making money off of stocks, patience is the key to doing it, because what happens with markets is they go up and down. They go up and down. They don't go in one particular direction from your perspective, from your immediate perspective, because you're looking at them. You were typically looking at a market from, a day perspective, a week perspective, even a month or year perspective. But, in that time frame, in those smaller time frames, you're not seeing the overall projection of where it's going, and you don't know where it's going. You can't predict that. But what you can understand is that it's gonna go up and it's gonna go down. So in those time frames, how often, and this is the key, how often is it gonna go up and down within the time frame that I'm projecting? Once you understand that basic concept, it really leads you to winning a lot at trading options. It's a matter of looking at your charts, looking at whatever a stock is doing, looking at whatever you're trying to trade. Look at it over time and see how many times consistently does it go up and down in an interval of time. Yes, it's not going to be exact, but you will start to see the patterns if you think about it that way. You'll start to see the patterns of, hey, you know what? Every day at 10 o'clock, every day at 10:30, this changes direction. There's a key metric that you can measure. Every day at, 2 p.m., this dips down or, may go in a different direction than it's been going in. Once you start to see those key patterns, that's how you can predict, even on a small scale, what things are going to happen. Now, the problem with that is that we are so impatient in what we're doing sometimes that even if we're predicting what a stock is going to do, even if we see the patterns, we get so fixated on the dollar amount or the money of what we're doing that we either get scared of what we're doing and we start to make decisions out of fear, or we get too cocky at what we're doing and we start to make decisions from that perspective, and it all leads to the same place of you losing the trades that you're making. So what you have to do is you have to train yourself. This is a key thing. You have to train yourself to be patient and be willing to wait and just take your time at what you're doing. If I could tell you anything, the most powerful thing that I could tell you about trading is you have to be willing to take your time and not panic. One of the key things that I value that I did early on before I started trading options is I traded Forex. And I know a lot of people are probably familiar with Forex, and the difference is that Forex is, specifically if you're trading on the day chart, it moves really, really quickly. And you have to develop this sense of, okay, I know this just went against me for this amount of money, and it's looking like it's going to keep going against me. But if I'm patient, you have to develop this sense of, if I'm patient, there's a chance that it's going to go back in my direction. And 9 times out of 10, there is. But what you have to understand with options is that you control the time. You control how long your contract is. Options is basically a contract. It's a contract of time. And you control how long. You can say, I want this options contract from this time to this time. And within that time, I'm predicting this to go in my direction, by this many points or whatever. You can determine what that is. That's the great thing about it. So you can basically say, I'm going to give this amount of time. And, I'm going to allow this to come to fruition in this amount of time. And I'm not going to even, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to bother with it. And most times, more often than not, you'll win consistently that way. Even if you're losing some trades, if you stick to that principle, especially if you know that the trade that you're getting into is a winning trade, if you feel that it's a winning trade and you stick to that principle, you'll win more often than you lose. And that's the whole thing about trading options. You want to win more than you lose. You obviously don't want to lose money. No one wants to lose money trading, but you're going to lose money. I want to tell you this. You're going to lose money sometimes trading options or trading any other commodity. You're going to lose money sometimes. You're not going to have a 100% record. But what you want to do is you want to win more than you lose. It's very important that you understand that. Develop your practices and stick with them. And if you stick with, the great thing about options is that you have that time buffer. And more often than not, once you start to develop how you're doing things, you'll actually be able to get out of your trades at the right time and get the profit that you want. And that leads me to the next thing, taking profits. You don't want to be too greedy when you're trading options. A lot of times people lose their trades or lose their shirt because they're too greedy. They're actually in the winning part of a trade and they just let it go too long. They hold the trade too long. It ends up going in the wrong direction when they are out of time. That's the thing you have to pay attention to. If you have a lot of time, you can allow your trades to go where they want to go. But as you run out of time, you need to be able to understand when your time is up. As you run out of time, you take less risk with the time that you have. Let me say that again. As you start to lose the time you have, take less risks with the time. That's the one thing you have to do. You will see it. You'll start to see it as you start to trade the options. You'll see that, okay, if I have a lot of time, I can let this go. And if it doesn't go in my direction right away, I can give it that time to go in the right direction if I believe in the play. But once I do get into where I'm actually making money, if I have a short amount of time left, I need to take those profits. I need to get out of that trade because my time is running out. So there's a ton of stuff that I definitely want to go over with you guys in terms of options, in terms of trading, period. But I wanted you to get those basic fundamental concepts down because those are the ones that will lead to you making money with your trades. I hope this has been extremely helpful for someone. And until we talk again, I wish you health, wealth, and freedom.